9 a.m.
Here.
David Summit,
Here.
Michael Flurry. Edith.
Here. Will you all stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do we have anyone with public comment, something that is not on today's agenda? Hey, Steve.
Morning.
Morning.
My name's Steve Soderquist. I was wondering if the employees would like nameplates like the directors have.
Smaller ones.
Trust me. Okay, Nancy? Thank you.
My name is Nancy Mitchell. I'm on the Shelter Cove Road and Recreation Foundation board of directors. I'm the treasurer. And also in attendance is Jen Hildreth on our board and our president, Mark Mitchell. Happy birthday, Mark, wherever you are. And I'm here today to give you an update. A year ago, April, we came to you and asking if you would consider letting us use some of your land for a labyrinth. In May of last year, you approved that. And Scarf has been working on it, not as fast as we'd hoped, because we had thought we would get it finished by December, but the project is 99% finished. And I just wanted to give you an update and give you some things. We started out with having an artistic drawing of what it would be, because when you say a labyrinth, a lot of people do not know what that is. And so we wanted to have some sort of a rendering of that, and we have that done. We graded the site, Bill Franklin did that for us. And then we were fortunate, miraculously fortunate actually, to have a gentleman in our code, Bruce Willis, to provide a pole for us. And that was installed on November 1st. And Jack, you were very helpful in that effort, very understanding, and we appreciated it a lot. We had a public blessing by the local Native Americans, and I'm terrible at names, so I'm going to As Mark speaks Spanish, and I'm still working on English. So. Anyway, we had a whole blessing of the site. We had a group work party, planted 250 daffodils around the site. We installed bark, we installed rocks, we installed pavers, made flyers, and the sign is 99% done and should be in a week or two. Anyway, this is all happening because of your generosity to the community. And we wanted to really thank you for that. And so I have a print of the original rendering that I'd like to give to Red. I don't know if we give it to Chris or to you, Janet, or whatever. And I also wanted to tell you that in the pavers, there were a couple mistakes made. Someone doesn't know how to spell white corn. And we had to reorder. We had three mistakes that we discovered. One of them was the paper that was and it is coming and should be here in a couple weeks, but just so you know, what it says on the paper, and this is a 12 by 12 big paper, is this land was provided by the Resort Improvement District number 1. Thank you for making the labyrinth possible. So
Thank you.
I also have flyers, which I'd like to thank you. In these flyers, we recognize that we provided the land and that there was at no cost to the public because the public gets money when government money is spent on things. So I'd like to leave a copy of this for each of you and maybe some extra. I mean, and I can get more. Have some in your office. So anyway, thank you very much. We think it's a really positive thing. I happen to look down on that in my house and people are there every single day. I've just been shocked. I mean, people I see going in to look at it or walk through it. So I think it's going to be a good use of time. So thank you. And
Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you, Nancy.
Hello, my name is Todd Athey. I wanted to first thank the RID for getting the sand and the tee boxes down. We got that done, which was awesome. I hear the sand is on the way. So we're getting our golf course better and better all the time. And I wanted to thank you guys for that. For most of you guys, you know, I took on a new business here at the Cove, and that's going to mean that I can do less than what I used to do. I had a couple of projects that I have in my mind that I would really like someone to take over. When I mention them, I think somebody should. The first is Nellie. I think we should do a memorial bench somewhere for her. I think that that would be really nice. And as I say that, you know what I mean? I think that that's a group effort. Me and Davey can easily raise the money. I just need to be able to get the permission from the RID to put it down on the golf course somewhere in the family where they'd like to put it. The second thing that I'd also like to do is I'd like to see if we can get a group to start beautifying the, I don't even know what to call it, the cliff's edge from 2 down 4. You guys, if you, on the front edge, you look back, you see this big, huge cliff. And as I play golf and look at it, I see it and I'm like, well, geez, look at, there's some lilies up there. That really looks good. If we were just to put some flowers on the side of that, I think that that would really look nice. And if you even want to go farther, you could see a time where maybe we put Shelter Cove along that in flowers. I just think that, you know what I mean? That's one of the places that could be beautified here in the Cove. Not looking for it to happen right away, but by next year, I think we might be able to get a group together that can do that. I apologize myself that I cannot spearhead those groups, but I think that those two things would be nice for the community. So if we get somebody that will get together and start putting the group together, you know what I mean? I think both of those would be really nice things. Thank you.
Thank you, Todd.
Morning, Alden Reed. I'll start with Scopovo. We'll be having a trash pickup on the 8th of next month, starting at 9 a.m. meeting here. And then we also have on the 1st a meeting that's invited, the public is invited to it, and that's at 9 a.m. at the end of the Lost Coast at Olney Hall. I want to talk about the golf course and that we do have the tee boxes there, so we still need 18 more of those. And what is the plan for that time wise? Well, this one took a long time.
It's gonna be a little while on those, Arlen. Honestly, we've got a whole bunch of other stuff we gotta catch up on, but it's the original. Let's get the first 9 going, and we were gonna talk about the other 9 after the fact. That included women's ski off also, so that was more than 18 total. So
Yeah, with the girls, 27 altogether. So
it's on the list. I can't give you a timeline at this point. They catch up a bunch with the other summer projects. We're behind on all of our weed eating because of the lack of employees to get everything done right now, so. If you start looking at our power lines and all of our easements, still way behind, so it's gonna be sometime probably late summer, honestly.
Okay. All right. And then talking about power lines, I see that we have $44,000 for the power pole replacements. And I just really truly believe that the people that designed the cove had a great plan. They put everything down in Lower Pacific underground, Upper Pacific underground. No, they didn't do it right, but we had so many opportunities to put this stuff underground. And you should really consider start doing it just right here to move up, save this money. I mean, we saw how long it took them to trim the trees right here or right below here, the pine trees. And that itself, you're eliminating that, you're eliminating fire. You're making it beautifying our community better. So that's something that I really think you guys could consider on your, the plan, 5-year plan. All right, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Arlen.
Anyone else with public comment? Okay, and let's move along to the consent calendar. David, do you have any questions?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I just had one question on a bill. I'm guessing it was just a misprint. Let me get to it. Oh, here we go. On the last page, on the bills paid prior, I just saw 2 on here identical from Thompson Gas. This is for $279.81. Was that just like a misprint, or did we get a double billing?
I am not too sure on that. I'll have to look into it if it was double billed or just the same amount was.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that was it for me. That was the only thing I saw.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, the question I had was for the JTI electrical and instrumentation of $12,615. Was that what we had already approved, or was that?
Yeah, that was
What
actually
quarter?
part of the original
Okay.
estimate. We're still under budget on that. We probably still have a bill or 2 coming. But I'll have a little bit more to say on that correspondence.
And the 44,000 that Arlen mentioned on the power pole, that was just buying the poles, correct?
Yes.
That's what I thought. We were needing poles. Okay. And then Harper Motors for 5K. That was one of the trucks, I presume. Yeah, truck brake. Okay. All right, if there's no other questions, and I have a motion.
I would move to approve the minutes and the bills for the month of April 2024.
I'll second that. Roll call. Janet Evans,
Aye.
Eric Berger,
Aye.
David Stover,
Aye.
Michael Solari, absent. Dr. Bucci. Aye. Motion carries.
Okay, discussion items. Chris?
Yes, I reached out to Lieutenant Dr. Paul at the Humboldt County Sheriff's Office. He said he had a conflict, a meeting at 8:30 this morning. He said he may be able to join remotely if possible when this time came up, but probably wouldn't. So he will not be able to make this meeting. No online right now. So he did ask about if there are any issues he should be aware of, and I informed him about the vehicle issues recently, the one on the beach and boat ramp area, and also there was a report of a vehicle in the airstrip late at night a weekend ago. Let them know about that. So if there's anything else that comes up that they feel the Humboldt County Sheriff's Office should know about, feel free to reach out. We'll be here next month.
believe the first discussion item is yours as well, Chris.
Yeah, so this, the next one is kind of a continuance of the net energy metering program and new solar interconnection agreement. The latest report on this project is, like, Sesha was just talking about, we're still getting the bills from the existing estimate. However, their project is ongoing as far as the electrical engineering study. We had to do a change order, time and material above their estimate, and an amount of about $5,900. That was based on the original estimate, was their best time and material estimate based on then available limited information, unanticipated unknown project data available, and then expected engineering work. The actual engineering effort to achieve the progress made to date required much more engineering effort than initially anticipated, how they put it. And so basically what they're studying is if the existing 10 kVA and 225 kVA transformers are adequate capacity to support the new NEN program. And they're gonna craft a standard solar system commissioning checklist for photovoltaic homeowner installation sites. And also create a one-line, I'm not really familiar with the ETAP model is, showing the calculation results from their studies. So they're still working on it. The engineering effort is a little bit larger than they anticipated, so we had to increase their budget a little bit. And they said they anticipate the conclusion of this project in 4 to 6 weeks. Anything to add on this, John? Do you have anything? The solar project study?
I just sent them the sizing for the generators too again, so take that into account.
Okay.
No one has any questions? Okay, SCADA system.
Okay, well, moving on then to the next discussion item. So I wanted to do a report on our water, wastewater supervisory control and data acquisition system, the SCADA. So just for everyone's information, the water and wastewater treatment systems are controlled through a computer program known as Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition System. For district operators, this system allows for remote and automatic operation and monitoring of water pumps, water tanks, wells, sewer lift stations, and the water treatment plant. Back in 2019, the district received grant funding of around $200,000 from Cal OES to replace much of the SCADA system hardware, including radios, remote terminal units, or RTUs, or programmable logic controllers, PLCs, cables, antennas, and a SCADA server computer, plus applicable licenses. District staff attempted to do much of the requisite programming for the system upgrade in-house. However, SCADA system programming proved extremely challenging for in-house staff, as this is a highly specialized field. To date, the SCADA system programming remains unfinished and only partially operational. For example, many water tanks and well locations provide no data, only work in manual mode, will not respond to computer commands, or do not communicate at all. Data between screens is inconsistent or inaccurate, plus there are no functional alarms and operators are unable to program system set point. Recently, staff reached out to specialist company Sierra Controls for a professional service agreement quote to program the entire SCADA system. Sierra Controls is a specialized company that installs and programs water measurement and control systems locally, including for other Humboldt County entities such as the City of Eureka and California State Parks. Sierra Controls offered a couple of different quote packages. One was for a complete system program overhaul, including remote operator interface panels and associated programming at each site. This amounted to $350,000. Second quote included a complete system program overhaul without the operator interface panels. This is a feasible option since an operator can still interface the applicable RTU PLC if necessary via a laptop or a phone or tablet if there's available signal. This amounted to $200,000. Final option, if desired, is to request a quote with a complete system overhaul and a select few targeted operator interface panels, which would fall somewhere in between those two quotes. So the quotes from Sierra Controls include a budget for implementing an Ignition Cloud SCADA platform, which which is a cloud-based SCADA system. Choosing to opt out of this system, the district would still have to spend as much on a new server computer system within the next few years, including all the vulnerabilities associated with maintaining and replacing physical computer hardware. The proposed invoicing from Sierra Controls would be monthly and based on labor and materials used throughout the course of this project. It is also possible that their estimate is overinflated since they may be able to conduct their work faster as they get going, using templates of pre-developed code on each site as they work, and which would be more efficient. That's what they anticipate. They were just giving us kind of a large estimate. Another available option is to break up this project into multiple years by, for instance, doing just the lift stations 1 year, the water tanks another year, and the wells another year after that, or any variation thereof. So we can break this up. In fact, in the proposed budget, we'll talk about later, there is a line item for the SCADA system in the capital section, capital improvement section, with anticipating a 3 or 4 year project. This is just for information. Financial impact, as you can see, is pretty pricey. And the recommendation is just to receive the information and discuss the path forward on the SCADA system. Frank is the kind of main operator of the system. Do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, you've gone over everything, pretty much how it is and what we're dealing with out of the field. As Chris said, that it's a cloud-based system, so every time we have a problem, we won't have to go to a computer to reset it. Everything will be on or in the cloud. So it'll be a lot easier with everything. The programming will be also forwarded to us to learn as well in the future as we're working on it. So it's not just them doing it, they want us to learn how to do it, which is another good thing. So anything that they have, they'll let us go forward with all.
One question. Have you looked into other vendors? Because if they're doing this programming mostly remotely, they could do it from anywhere.
Yeah, we went with this company because, as Chris said, they're already dealing with Eureka, the city or California State Parks, they're dealing with Fort Bragg. So they're already in our area, so when they come out, they can work on multiple places at once. Whereas the Aqua Sierra, the programming that we had before, it's pretty close to the same price. We put out a bid with them also, but they're a server computer, so every time we have a breakdown, we'll have to replace a computer, which is about $5,000 to do it. So the cloud, from what Chris and I understand, it's going to be about that much a year to basically rent the space in the cloud for what we're doing now. We'll have to deal with stuff, any servers or anything like that. But we did look at Aqua Sierra, so there's 2 different ones. Aqua Sierra came right about the same price.
Yeah, excuse me. And just for clarity of understanding, the operator interface panels, that would basically be just that at each site you would have something to interface with that section.
Yeah, so you would be able to go up and see what levels on the tank at the tank.
Okay.
A lot of our new tanks do still have the level controllers that do work. We've got them, the old ones, they just get worn and torn. If anybody's gone their tanks against each other, they're climbing on them and breaking them also. So.
But is that basically just like a redundancy to your remote operations? I know you can already, or in theory, you should be able to operate everything by your phone or laptop. I know you're having issues with it now, but.
Probably a dozen places that we can't use our phone at because of signals in kind of mountains. So.
Okay.
Like big tank, we can use our phone at, we'd have to go look at it back to it. So.
And are you able to complete your normal course of operations without having the panel at the site? Are you able to do what you need to do as far as communicate with it remotely, or do you have to be at the site?
Some of the places will have to be at the site, like those dozen or so that
Okay.
don't have any phone signal on them.
So it sounds like for those, we may want to consider the operator interface panel.
Awesome.
And then, okay.
So at this time, we're looking at the most cost effective way of going about it.
Okay.
And we have to later add this interfaces to the other places.
And have they talked to the security of being on a cloud-based system?
The cloud-based system is more secure than what we have on the server. Now, the server computer, you can break into it. I know we do have a firewall right now that actually installed up here as well, but firewalls are easy to break into just as well. If somebody wants to break into clouds, a lot safer than what's going on. And in the future, they're going away from all those firewalls anyway, going all the cloud-based stuff. It's more secure, allegedly, than whatever else is going on. They are up to date with the FBI and CIA safety protocols that's out there right now.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm guessing with them, with California State Parks, going along, they must have some kind of a good IT server protection. So yeah.
Right now, we're using TeamViewer to log in and log me in and other what do you call that you can use to log in from out in the field. And I think it's 2 years from now that's all going to have to go away. So
Okay.
Logging in from the app will go away.
Logging in from your phone on certain apps.
Okay.
Yeah, third-party apps, it's a safety issue that the government's trying to get away from.
That's what I was just going to ask. Because inside the firewall is probably where it's most dangerous. People with apps on their phone.
The cloud-based server is with a login, and again, it's all cloud-based, so we don't have to worry about us. The server or log in necessary for place.
Cool. Thank you, Frank.
I have another question, and this might be more than I should ask, but what is the programming problem?
It's technical. It's something that you should be in school or trained to do. It's all logic based, and you have to know what you're doing to do it. You can't just learn it on the fly. And that's what happened with our last program. And then we had a SCADA system that worked. And the same thing that's happened. This is third or fourth time that we've changed SCADA systems without the general manager and everybody else talking to the people in charge of it. Last SCADA system worked. Then they decided they wanted to go to replace it without talking to Travis or anybody else that uses it. So now they've ruined what we have that we have to fix again. So this will be the fourth system since I've been here.
Is there any backup
As far as
from the system that worked? Was there any configuration backup?
there's a little bit of hardware, but there's no real backup on it. There's it's in a server right now, and as far as our backup goes, got a backup hard drive other than that, nothing else.
So I'm trying to imagine what the system, how it actually operates. And I imagine there are devices that you connect to and you give them a tag, like switch one or pump one or something like that.
Yeah.
And then you program it with those.
Yeah, all the different places.
It's like a ladder logic for PLC.
Yes. I don't know the specific, but it's all.
Frank, could you just remind us again how much we've spent on the last failing SCADA system? Do you remember what that
I
was?
haven't looked, but I know it's over 200 grand.
I think,
That was in the part of the grant also.
yeah, that grant in 2019, I think was 200,000, but you had to have a 100,000 or 150,000 in kind, which would be factored in as labor, in-house labor.
With these quotes that we've gotten from them, and time and material by the month, will we be able to on the fly make changes and say, okay, we'll authorize more work when they're here starting? If you see there's something you really need to add, you can add it to the contract. So we're not just held specifically to the one. You can come back to us with something and ask for more money towards.
Yeah,
something
I
that's
think that
needed.
would be doable. They're pretty flexible, this company, and be like doing a change order or modifying their quote contract service agreement.
Anything else?
No. Thanks for the information. Yeah.
A lot to think about. Okay, is that the last discussion? Yeah? Okay. Is there anyone with a question or public comment on what Chris and Frank were talking about? Okay, well then let's move on to board member and staff reports. Start with director's comments. David,
No.
nothing?
Nope, just doing a lot of training for the fire department.
Advanced training.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay. Tasha?
Mostly it's been communicating with with community members on different subjects ranging from the food pantry, the CASO, and also with the net metering, and then the sports courts as well. I didn't do any online training this month yet. And a meeting with Chris. That's about it.
I've been working on reading policies, finding a lot of them that need editing or updating. I would urge all of you to check your policy binder too. I'm finding that we have changed a lot of policies and I don't have the newest version of my binder. And so I've got flags all over everywhere. So we need to, if you have an issue, we'll reprint for all of you, but I urge everyone to kind of take a good look through there. I know we all read them when we first start, but then it kind of, you forget about them. And there's a lot of policies in there that are out of date, or there's just paragraphs that need to be changed on them. So I was doing some grant research and some research on general accounting standard board pronouncements that we have to have for record. They're very important when we're getting into all these grants that we've got to be certain that we're reporting them according to government accounting standards that we have to do. So that has been what I've been doing this month. So Chris, do you want to do operational update?
Yeah, so the month of April, general manager's activities, a lot of work on the fiscal year 24-25 budget. Attended multiple online training webinars through the CSDA website. Our chief Nick paid CPR first aid training, all district staff. Attended meetings with the board, staff, residents, and community organizations, including the sports court committee. And I hope to have a sports court update next board meeting on our project there. Attended online meetings with the electrical superintendent, John, and JTI electrical engineers to further review the district's solar interconnection capabilities. Assisted Frank, water wastewater superintendent, on the first quarter wastewater report from the state. Worked with the district's healthcare insurance provider, SDRMA, set up an alternative, more inexpensive healthcare plan option for staff. Also enrolled this district in an additional ancillary employee assistance program, EAP coverage for full-time staff. Completed the state mandated workplace violence prevention plan document, which we'll be doing a second reading of later. Coordinated with staff and contractors on the removal of large hazardous trees on Bill Pass Road. Worked on the one-time additional discretionary payment, ADP, for the CalPERS unfunded accrued liability debt. Updated the lake account contacts and filled out paperwork for that. Created a new operator and training job description for the water wastewater department. We'll be reviewing that a little bit later. Worked on permitting and other paperwork for the proposed Block W well grant project. Attended a work party at Coral Point, organized by the Eel River Wailaki to remove invasive vegetation and purple sea urchins. They will plan more work parties in the future that will allow community volunteers. This was their first one, and so they're feeling it out, and I think it's gonna be a good project going forward. And I corresponded with CASO, the pantry, about their ability to seek liability insurance or propose an alternative. And CASO ceased operations in late April at the clubhouse and have until the end of this month to find a resolution. So, still in communication with them on what they're proposing. They're still awaiting quotes on insurance, and there's a potential that someone else may take over those duties, but still in the process of learning about that. So that concludes my activities. Zoe, would you like to?
Good morning, everyone. Those of you I haven't met, my name is Zoe Wilcox. And the first half here as the new administrative superintendent started, which is myself. I did a lot of on-the-job training with my predecessor, Susan Sack, which was a wealth of knowledge and a privilege to have the opportunity to work with her. She showed me all the monthly and yearly duties and reporting. I've been learning office operations and understanding board policies, current ordinances, and the district structure. We attended various meetings, including with the board and supervisors. We attended a Waffle full load service customer meeting to learn more about the district's electricity source and structure. It was a little over my head, but there was helpful information in there, such as pricing and tiered systems they're looking into. We updated the district's website to keep that up to date, coordinated pre-employment testing, HR onboarding, and DOT driver establishment for our new apprentice journeyman, completed all monthly payroll and billing, worked with GM and superintendents on the draft budget, met with GM, Fire Chief, and Sue to open bids for CAL FIRE prevention grant, completed and submitted annual electric power report to U.S. Energy Information Administration, completed all driver random drug screenings, attended CPR and first training with all district staff, and then we ordered and received a new copier that's in the office. It's very efficient and quick. So anyone that needs to use it on the board can come on in. It's easy to connect. We connected all the workstations, and the sales representative gave all office staff a walkthrough on the features and how to use it. That was sports committee with GM and Sue to discuss updates and receive input. Invoice Frontier for the annual full attachment lease. Completed annual reporting of compliance to payment card industry data security standard, which is a requirement for accepting credit card and debit card payments. Established new past due payment plans, and completed the state controller's office compensation report.
Okay. Water, wastewater?
Last month, the water, we're changing our batteries out at our Omar site, which is on Cougar on and off. We had issues with the charging system. So we got changed the battery about once a week up there. We did get a new solar charger and installed it up at the site. John and I went up there and took care of that, so everything seems fine. We've got the new part in place. We had a lot of air for some reason at our flood pump site. We had to spend probably an hour up there trying to get all the air out of the whole system, pump it out. And we had a lot of air in the system, so we had to blow it off our balloon. We had pressure transducer issues at jack tanks in the PT, it was all clogged. So they had to go up there and knock all the buildup from out of the tank. In this case, we used the tin that's old tin, we tried to show it. So Karen and I got the water left PT in that same yard. Had a pressure PSI check on first part for our new possible customer. Leaking meter, 200 Spring Street, we replaced the gas there and got rid of the leak. Working with Sierra Controls and Chris there for SCADA system. We sent one of our employees to Santa Rosa to take their distribution 2 test, and we passed. We do have another person, that would be Travis, went down there and took his distribution 2 test. So, another way with the D2. We sent a couple people DMV for physicals, which we talked about earlier, and switched out the fluorescent lights in the general manager's office for LED lights. The wastewater plant, kind of a fun job with swallows for back April 9th. Just kind of put that on there, swallows when they come out every year. So a fun note to have. John and I changed out the diesel fuel counter water plant, so the counter's working properly now. In their contact chamber in the station 2, we had some plumbing issues with, and they were taking care of the gas pumps and taking care of. We also did get sand ordered, as was talked about earlier with Hans, so he knows about that, and Marlon knows about that. So that'll be probably 2 to 3 weeks out now from last order before we get that, just depending on the drivers and company going down to Burlington. Other than that, that's all I have.
Thanks, Frank. John? In April, we did a service upgrade at Wave Drive. Customer wanted to put in 4 Tesla chargers. Place there, so we had to upgrade the service. Continued meetings with JTI for the solar study, remove trees on Lower Pacific, Airport. Form training for the new apprentice. Call them for an outage on Beach Road, outage on Bill Pass Road, for the pop pin insulator. The 2 power outages on the tile line. Did more tree work, and we had an outage on Bill Pass Road to remove the hazard tree.
Can I make a comment? Yesterday was that power outage, and actually I really appreciated knowing when it was going to go off and come back on. That was nice.
Yeah, we try to give everybody an off and on time. Most of the time it works out well. We try to stay within our, I always give extra time. We think it's gonna take 2 hours to do 5. It's always something that happens that count for.
Yeah. Well, it's good to know in case if it's going to go a long time, you don't open your refrigerator, but if you don't know, you might.
Thanks, John. Nick?
All right, thank you guys. Good and bad. So the fire department's been really slow lately. So good job for the community staying safe. We prefer to not have to use any of the equipment that we have out there. Some of the bad is fire season's coming. So it was almost 100 degrees in Alder Point yesterday. So don't let the fog fool you. Just over the hill, we're pushing the 90s in the grass, and the fields are going to start drying out really quick. So we're getting ready for that. So as Jack said, he's been doing a lot of training. We've been starting to get our firefighters ready early this year. We just went through all of our wildland fire gear last night at the drill. We're still currently hanging around right around 28 firefighters. We will be losing some of our firefighters to careers at CAL FIRE, BLM. Like I said, bittersweet for us, but we are proud of those guys to go out and continue Shelter Cove's name and get a job and a career that has great benefits and keeps them local. Most of our apparatus is in service right now. We have 1 quad that's 2006, I believe, just 3 quad that is having issues, and then our jet boat is currently remodeled. Hopefully we'll have that back up and running for training purposes. Both of those apparatus have redundancies, so they're reserve status. In addition, all of our fleet is up and ready to go, ready for wildfire season. We have a couple large trainings over the hill with all of our firefighters, and for the fire chief position, a lot of admin. So we have a lot of our grants are going into implementation, which means we're going to be starting up the grants. So we just signed contracts on our 35-mile, $900,000 highway grant that's going to go from here to Redway. That's going to start Monday. So you guys, please expect 5 to 15-minute delays as those guys are working the road. Currently, BLM has a crew going on right now. We've had some complaints about people in the road. That's not our crew. I did reach out to Paul, the BLM team range manager, let him know, hey, talk to those guys. We don't want to see anybody get hurt. And we don't want them mistaken for our crew. Our crew has a very stringent traffic control plan built into the contract. So there will be flaggers. Again, there will be a slight delay, but it's for the benefit of the whole west side of the Southern Humboldt community. The USDA grant I've been talking about, which seems like forever, that's actually gonna start going. So we have our defendable space inspectors or technicians, they're calling them. Trees will be the hires. The Trees Foundation and Garberville, they're hiring inspectors as we speak, training them up, and they'll go in and actually doing inspections on every home in Shelter Cove. So the inspection program that we bought into gives you a profile on your house. So when you get the inspection, you'll have an online profile. If your house is great, you've done everything I've been asking the last 10 years, you'll still get that profile. Hopefully you'll get your gutters cleaned and your yard weed whacked. Other people that haven't been listening the last 10 years, they're going to get quite a bit of funding to help clean up 100 foot of defendable space, up to around $3,000 per house. So, just to put that in perspective, our annual tax is $125. If you get a $3,000, we're paying your annual tax for a long time. So it's great to see the funding that we bring in getting leverage to go help the community. So please take advantage of this program. Our goal is to get every house and every structure in Shelter Cove. That's only going to happen with community buy-in. So there'll be an online sign-up sheet. So that will be released through our website, the newsletter, and then Trees Foundation. We put out a bunch of social media. Basically, you go online, sign up. Here's my address. Here's some times that work for me. And it will automatically notify the inspectors. They'll set up an appointment to come to the inspection on your house. None of this goes bad towards your insurance. We don't send it to any insurance company, so it'll be 100% of will. If you guys get a good grade on your house or you go get the work done, then send that to your insurance company. I do about 3 or 4 inspections a week for certain people in the community that are either losing their insurance or have a high rate. This is going to do all that for me, so we'll open up time for me as well. So it's a really good program. After we get the homes done, then we're going to do 2,800 vacant lots that are surrounding homes, our evacuation routes, and some more of the greenbelt is going to get green too. So all of our greenbelt will get treated at different prescriptions. So obviously we're going to be more aggressive with removing fuels closer to the house. As we go to the greenbelt, it's going to be less, 8-foot brushing, no tree removal, stuff like that. So the long-term process, but we are starting up, and you guys should see that notification coming up here shortly. Last thing is our OES program. So we'll talk about that later in the position description. So we're kind of wrapping up our first full year of OES program. It's something I've been working on as a pet project for 5 years. Fire Captain Hargrave on his other hat, he's been a big part of that. And we did 4 assignments last year working for California OES for mutual aid. And we were able to bring in $102,031. So that is, we paid out $55,000 to the firefighters, and we made $46,000 for our equipment. So that goes towards maintenance, tires, upgrades, whatever we want to do with that. And really the kind of underlying thing there is the experience our firefighters need. So we can't afford to have a big fire in Shelter Cove. So if we get an acre of fire, there's going to be 2 houses that could be potentially impacted. So for our captains and our senior officers to get that experience, they got to go fight fire in somebody else's backyard. And this is what allowed us to do this in this program. It's been very successful, and definitely wanted to thank the board because I know it was letting us go out on the limb for me to be like, I'm taking our engine and our firefighters out of the area, and for trusting me in the program. And we're definitely seeing the success of that program going forward. So, all I got. Thanks.
Question,
Yeah.
when engine 5116 went up to Cal Poly, was that a reimbursable thing?
Absolutely, that's part of the OES. So that's our master mutual aid. I'm not sure exactly what we brought in. It's about $140 an hour for 5116 to go up there to 9-point engine crew. And then the firefighters get paid separately from that. So Firefighter pay right now for California is $27 an hour. Officers right around 34, and we match that with the firefighters. So it's no out-of-pocket for the rig. OES pays our firefighters as part of that program for reimbursement. So yeah, we went with 4 people. Luckily, nobody got hurt. We didn't have to do much, but we were standing by. It was actually a really good experience. It was something out of the norm for us for a civil unrest position instead of a fire, a weather. So yeah, out of those 4 assignments, 1 was actually a fire. And so it's not just wildland fire. 2 of them were debris and winter weather storms. So we're standing by, we're cutting trees out of the road, keeping the emergency services and the ambulance access open. And then the civil unrest is the one we just went to a couple weeks ago. So yeah, we'll get a good name to the Cove, and then our firefighters get a lot of experience out of it. It's a good program. Thanks, Dave.
Do you have an update on your new building?
Yeah, finally got an update on that. So we have Edward Destinations going to come in, so they came in under budget and under the blind bid requirements. So they'll be able to get started out here, and then we probably will have to do a bid for the concrete pouring. So I think it's going to be above that 25 grand mark. Hopefully we're going to try and find some things to see if maybe we can get the labor and then supply the concrete materials and might work it out. But hopefully sometime this month. So I'm hoping to get the building installed mid-June. Once the pad's done, it takes like a weekend to put up those steel buildings with the company. So really what we're waiting on is the engineered pad, and that's kind of the crunch of the whole project has been. So we get the sand grade fault runs right through here. We had to over-engineer the pad to take the weight of the truck. So super excited about that, and starts the next project right after that. Yeah.
Awesome.
Does the public have any questions for our superintendent? So we are now going to move on to our action items. And the first item is our budget. This is the second reading. And the staff has worked very hard in getting this budget done for us. We will be having a final vote on it next month. But this is our time to ask our questions. Dave, do you want to start off with any questions you have on budget?
Well, kind of a general one. We look at this page. The way it stands right now, this would be a $708,000 deficit budget. And that seems a little extreme to me. So I'm wondering if we could get a list of things on here that are nice to have. And maybe also a list of things that we absolutely have to have, and then other things in the middle.
I think we can go through this resume specifically and figure out things.
Jack, have you done anything?
Not really. I mean, yeah, just reading through. I did want to give a heads up on the. I should have talked to Nick ahead of time. We discussed a little bit, but on our the search and rescue utility drone, we're hoping to have that purchased by this year. Although we kind of put the brakes on it. If you're aware of the stuff going on with the government and TikTok and the whole thing about China, well, seems like they're doing the same kind of thing towards DJI, which is the company who manufactures our drone. And so before we were about ready to, I'd already done the bid process and we were about ready to award the bid when I came across basically the government is trying to put a possible ban on DJI for which would eliminate their FAA licensing, which would eventually basically ground all DJI drones, whether commercial or personal or whatever. So we're kind of put a pause on that until we figure out. It looks like the legislation may be another month or so out. Hopefully it'll be done by the end of the fiscal. But that may be something that needs to roll over into the next year. I'll talk more about it with it's already pre-funded and everything. That's the only reason that we're kind of holding up on that. We're making sure that we're not going to invest $14,000 in an electric brick. So yeah. But other than that, no real questions on the budget right now.
No, I'm kind of with Dave about seeing, where we can get more details on what is absolutely needed and then the wish list.
I want to thank Zoe for sending all of us the electronic version with comments from
Thank you.
the producers of this budget so that we know we have things answered for us a lot before we even had to dig into it further for our meeting. As well as responding to all of my questions that I had previously on the budget. Overall, there, looks fairly good. I'm pleased with Electric Enterprise Fund. Looks like our rate increase last year is bringing that into line this year, which is good. I'm really concerned though about water and sewer needing more funding, whether it's a rate increase or grants. There's a lot of work to be done there. And I think when we get our list of what has to be done and what we'd like to be done, we're going to find that most of what's in water and sewer has to be done. Our infrastructure is extremely old and it's starting to show its age and failing. So it's something we need to look at closely to see, because if we can't find grants to help pay for these repairs, we're going to need to start reviewing our rates this year like we had to do last year for water or for electric and get things in line. That's not something we really want to do, but we may have to look at it because we all need water and sewer. We can't let this go. And that was the only question or comments I had to make on the budget today. Is there any public comment on the budget? Okay. Given that nobody has any comments on that, I believe we have a motion to move it. We need a motion to move it forward to next month for a vote.
Yeah, I would move to, we didn't have any modifications. I would move to approve the proposed budget and bring back next month for final reading.
I'll second that.
Roll call. Nate
Aye.
Brian Kirby,
Aye.
David Summer,
I,
Victoria Grafton, Heather Machine. Aye. Motion passed.
Okay, the next thing is adoption of resolution 2409 about the workplace violence prevention plan. Chris, would you like to explain that to us?
Yeah, this is just the second reading of what was reviewed last month board meeting. There were a few modifications to corrections, edits that were made. They're still out on this agenda item here. And other than that, this is just a required program that we have to have based on California Senate Bill 553, due by July 1st. So we're well on time on this. It will require some annual training on our part and other reporting if there's ever an incident. And yeah, pretty standard. Any questions?
I appreciate the format of this, how it was presented to us with the corrections right up front. That was easy.
No, thank you for looking into that section. That was good. And actually, you definitely found something. Yeah, that was a good amendment on there. So yeah, but other than that, no, looks pretty straightforward.
My only thing would be under the prohibited acts and the threats of violence. Just changing the wording from his or her safety, and he and she to maybe they, them, so it's more inclusive. Since we're doing
Yeah, I can make that further change. Further edit.
that, I think it looks great.
The only question I had is when we're doing this, I was noticing on the checklists, different things, and one checklist is, obviously not everything on those checklists applies to here, but ID badges. And it came to my mind that I think it would be good for the district if we did like laminated picture IDs for all the employees here, so that they're safer out in the field when somebody comes and wants to challenge them for what they're doing and why are you on my property. They actually have a badge. It also, Nick, for the fire department and for CERT, we all have ID cards. They're not something we can, you got to pull it out of your wallet, which is fine. Or if we happen to be out of the cove and we need to get back in an emergency. And that way we have the ability to show this card where they're going to have us blocked off to be able to get through as responders. First responders for the fire department that Nick's going to need, and CERT members to do whatever Nick's deployed us to do. I just think it's a good idea as a whole for our paid, our superintendents and all their employees to be able to have that proof if they're out in the public. They don't cost much, so just something to throw in there if we can do that. Does the public have any questions on our emergency or workplace violence plan? Okay. Moving forward, Nick, new positions.
Oh, well, we need a motion on it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, we're going to vote on this.
Then nothing further. I would move to adopt resolution 24-09, approving new district workplace violence prevention plan under Senate Bill number 55553, and the approval of plan as appendix to board policy 3010, injury and illness prevention plan with the noted change.
I second that.
Sorry. Don't want to rush it, that's all.
Yeah, Evan,
Aye.
Jack Hargrave,
Aye.
David Feldman,
Aye.
Thanks, Larry, absent. Becky Bougie.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay. Now, Nick.
All right, so this is a little bit of house cleaning from last year. We did the restructuring. It was found that a lot of our policies, the fire department was lacking full position descriptions across our entire program range, kind of where the fire department's evolved to now. So when I got hired on as the fire chief, Get that one back on real quick. That's right on. Here. So there's solar flares. All right. Yeah, so when I got brought on in 2020 as a full-time chief, it left a vacancy as our chief duty officer. Myself and Frank Wilson is actually my assistant chief. When we're gone, one of us is always trying to have that fire chief coverage. And right now, with our schedules, it's not always, we're not always able to do that. So this would be a proposal to reactivate my previous position, which is a part-time battalion chief or chief duty officer. Chief Sal did it for like 15, 20 years. basically the differences between the chief duty officer and the duty officer. The chief duty officer isn't held to a set work schedule of only 4 hours a day. So it is still a part-time position. It's, you can't go over 40 hours a week, and 1,000 hours a year, but they can do that at any point. So if that chief duty officer wanted to come in on a day that wasn't his duty day, to finish up paperwork or to fill in for a meeting for me, they could. Like today, right now it's my day off, but I have to be here because Thursdays don't fall my duty days. So this will bring in some more flexibility to that, and it's a very low cost to the district. Currently, duty officers make $35 an hour, starting for the chief duty officer, it would only be $40 an hour. And that's 4 hours a day, and then it's still under that 40-hour work week. So a lot of things here, but it's still a great program, and then it also gives them the title of the battalion chief. When they go out as OES, they can take on more responsibilities. So that's what it is, and there'll be some more position descriptions coming up.
Dave, do you have any questions?
No, not.
Yeah. I know, you're not supposed to.
Yep.
We're not voting on voting yet.
That's okay. I still shouldn't take part and don't want to influence anything. So yeah.
Okay, Tasha?
I think it looks good. I think it's necessary so that we are operating at full capacity and so that you can actually take some time off.
Okay, yeah, I have no questions on it. Okay, can I have a motion then? Somebody other than Jack?
Are we doing this all together or separately?
Well, we're gonna be doing, I mean, these are
Okay.
just housekeeping things.
Yeah.
The temporary labor, the emergency responder. It's all part of it, I guess.
It's a carryover description from last month. That's what we had a discussion item last month, and then the action item will follow one by one after.
Okay, so we saw all of these last month and, you know, a lot of, this is really just our housekeeping on Nick finalizing what he had was writing.
So we'll be discussing the temporary labor position and all that.
No, this,
Okay, this is it.
we're voting
Okay.
on this.
All right.
So She can,
Yeah,
he can speak to it. Yeah, we had it last month.
Yeah, just
Yeah, so what Tesha was asking was, is it gonna be one? It can be one motion, but I missed letting you guys know what the other two were. The other ones that we brought up to the board were the temporary labor and the OES position. And so after discussing with the admin superintendent and the GM, the temporary labor would be more beneficial as a generic temporary labor for the entire district. Temporary labor, what that is exactly what it sounds like. It's a temporary employee that can work hours of need on special projects. If we had weed whacking going on, golf course maintenance, whatever it would be a part-time temporary labor without a set schedule. So it would be, hey, we've got 4 hours of golf course work that needs done, and we have the employees that are qualified for that. For the fire department, for example, it's everything outside of the volunteer firefighter role. So our volunteer firefighters, we already expect too much of them. So for me to ask them, hey, go out and weed whack, all 235 hydrants that we have, this is going to give us the ability as a district to be like, hey, we're going to pay you guys as general labor rate to go do these special projects that are outside of your position description. Before, we never really had any way of doing that except for making them a part-time labor, and part-time laborers usually have a more set schedule. So this opens up the flexibility of the district to do that, and it was already a position that we had inactive in our position, or just not filled in our position description. So we made some updates to it. We pulled out, going back to what Janet was saying about the policies that were out of date. A lot of our policies had pay in the policy or names in the policy. And now, because those people have moved on, like this one was like $10 an hour for minimum wage, right? So we're almost double that now. That's the kind of stuff that we've been finding as we go through these position descriptions and policies. So we did update that, and we did some house cleaning on those positions. But this would be applicable to the entire district of that ability to hire a temporary labor.
and so it crosses over both for the fire department and the district. Yeah.
It's just a generic position description that any of us can tap into. The other one is our OES position, and actually making a position for that. So we kind of discussed that earlier, what that is. That goes back to your guys' portal resolution that we did, and put a position description to that. That's part of our out of district coverage program. And then the last one is actually creating a volunteer firefighter position description within the bid. So no pay, no benefits, but it actually gives them a duties and all that, make it code set with the rest of the position descriptions. We're finally one of the bid.
Thank you for
Yeah, thanks, good catch on that.
isolating. Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the new volunteer firefighter and limited term emergency responder position descriptions and approve reactivation and updates of policy 2386 temporary laborer and policy 2389 part-time chief duty officer.
I second the motion.
Roll call. Janet Evans,
Aye.
Jack Carter,
Abstain.
David Sommer,
Aye.
Mike Solari, absent. Sasha Bushi,
Aye.
motion carried.
Okay, so next action item is to consider district preferences for the 2024 general election in November. Recently, the Humboldt County Office of Elections reached out with a letter to the district. They're preparing for the general election in November, and they're requesting that the district submit preferences by the end of this month on the 3 board director positions available. And so basically, the different preferences are who will pay for the candidate statements, either the district of the candidate, the word length of the candidate statements, either 200 or 400 words. And if there's a tie, how will the tiebreaker be resolved, either by lot or runoff? And if they're also asking if there's been any district border changes in the last 2 years. And standard form. So if you want to know the exact cost, it's $302 per 200-word candidate statement. And that cost will increase if the district allows for a 400-word statement. And so the recommendation here is for no changes to the historical preferences due to those increased costs. And just go with what we've done in the past on this one. So motion to approve 200-word maximum candidate statements to be paid for by the candidate and resolving a tiebreaker by lot for district's 2024 elections preference. And district boundaries have not changed. There's no consideration of that.
Questions on this?
No. Yeah, this is, as Chris said, this is basically what we've been proceeding with, in the past. So, yeah.
Does the public have any comment or questions on this item? Okay, can I have a motion?
Let's see here. I would move to approve 200-word maximum candidate statements to be paid for by the candidate and resolving a tiebreaker by lot for district's 2024 elections preferences.
I'll second the motion.
Roll call. Janet Evans,
Aye.
Jack Carter,
Aye.
David Sommer,
Aye.
Mike Solari, absent. Sasha Bushi.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Job description policy 2330 or operator and training job description.
Yeah, so this one is to consider the new job description for operator and training. For over a month now, the district has had an open job posting for a new water plant, wastewater treatment plant operator. The job description requires this person to already have a California Grade 1 wastewater treatment certificate and a California Grade 2 water treatment and water distribution certificate. These certificates take great effort and time to acquire and necessitate prior treatment plant experience. To date, there have been no qualified applicants. In the past, the district has promoted from within to fulfill this position. Now staff feel it is necessary to seek outside resources to do so. In order to complete the hiring and filling of this vacant staff position, I propose creating a new operator in training OIT job description, which will allow the district to hire an applicant without prior treatment plant experience or certification. The new OIT will fall into the same pay scale as the general laborer position under Exhibit B1 of the IBEW MOU. And I put a table there displaying those hourly wage rates. The difference between the new OIT and the general laborer is that the OIT will be more directed and focused to become a water plant, wastewater plant operator within 1 year, whereas the general laborer does not have that specific direction. In this way, we can ensure vacant staff positions are filled in a timely manner. The goal is to apply the new OIT job posting as soon as the job description is approved. Financial impact, potential minor savings for 1 year as this vacant position is already budgeted as a higher paid water plant, wastewater plant operator. And the recommendation is to approve the new OIT job description. Are there any questions?
Do you have any questions?
Yeah, I don't have it all thought out, so may ramble a bit. This seems like a really good thing to do, so we can get people on a known career path. And I appreciate it for that, especially.
Yeah, I'm all for it. I mean, yeah, as you know, I attempted to do it with a current employee. And so, yeah, I think it's great to, wasn't aware that we actually, yeah, we didn't have the actual position description. It was something that we were just trying to implement. So no, it's great getting the policy in line. And yeah, I think it's great for the legacy of the district. So, yeah.
I think it's needed. That looks good.
Yeah, I think it's got with Chris and Frank, and I know we absolutely need to get somebody in here for our water department. So I think it's a good idea, get somebody on a career path. So does the public have any questions or comments? Okay, and I have a motion.
I make a
Got to do them all.
I make a motion to approve the new operator in training job description.
I will second.
Roll call. Jenna Evans,
Aye.
John Hargrave,
Aye.
Jason Summer,
Aye.
Frank Larry Hackett, Patrick Eugene. Aye. Motion carried.
All right, Chris, consider commercial driver's license stipend for IBEW staff.
Yes, so this one came up a little while ago, and I'm bringing this up now for the board. So a little background, the district requires certain IBEW staff to obtain and maintain a commercial driver's license, CDL, to carry out the essential functions of their job. The Class B CDL is required for operating large vehicles weighing over 26,000 pounds. Class A CDL is required for operating the same vehicles plus towing a trailer weighing more than 10,000 pounds. Examples of needing these licenses in the district include driving the dump truck or the line truck, or driving either of those vehicles while towing the trailer with the mini excavator, for instance. Acquiring a commercial driver's license takes a great deal of effort and training, similar to the effort made by obtaining water or wastewater treatment plant certification or journeyman power certification. A commercial driver is also subject to DOT-required random drug testing throughout their career. To encourage employee retention and recruitment, and recognize the efforts made by staff to obtain this critical CDL certification, I propose a one-time stipend based on the classification of the CDL, either A or B, to begin in fiscal year 24-25. A Class A license shall receive a 5% pay increase added to their hourly wage, while a Class B license shall receive a 2.5% increase. This incentive will ensure that staff are well equipped to manage district affairs, and it will recognize staff for their commitment to their work. The financial impact, which I've included in the proposed budget here, that will add an additional $16,000 to $22,000 an annual labor budget depending upon applicable staff achievements and filling position vacancies. And there were some questions. I know Mike Solari couldn't be here today, but he did bring a question to me. I wanted to bring that up before the board also, just so your awareness. He was wondering, isn't this already part of the job description? And it is for some of them, not all of them, and even some of them are kind of vague. It's should possess or may be required or ability to obtain versus the must possess, which is actually only required for 2 of our job positions. And so my recommendation is to approve the commercial driver's license stipend for IBW staff beginning in the next fiscal year. Are there any questions?
Just for clarification, right now, if one of our employees goes for their CDL, the district pays for it?
That is true. The training is paid for.
Okay, because in my researching on this, for commercial license, I saw there are several things that, offer like a sign-up bonus and everything. Everything that I researched was between $3,000 and $6,000, which would basically be equivalent to truck driver school. So it appears that we're already paying for them to go. And I mean, this is an added benefit if they stay with us or if they go with somebody else. Honestly, I mean, our guys know how much I love them and support them. They all just got a big step and big pay raise last year, which we had to budget. I think this is really just part of doing course of their job, and they're already getting the added benefit if they want it, that the district supports them and already pays for that. I don't think it's appropriate in our budgeting right now since we are already in the red, and we have just gone through the whole negotiating and everything with the IBEW and the big step raise. I'm honestly disinclined to approve on this. I really do appreciate the work that our guys do, but I think they are already well paid, well compensated for the time that they do and the efforts that they do.
I'm kind of, well, while I understand that our employees are just received a big step increase, I would like to acknowledge that that increase and why it was so large was really to bring them up to where they should have been over the last few years, because that wasn't really happening. And so that's why they did receive such a large step increase at that time. We're still on the lower end of wage compensation for the different departments. If they were to go anywhere else, they would be able to make more money. And I feel that this is, this could be, again, I think it is good for recruitment and retention, and that they would be getting compensated for the experience they're bringing to the table. With a lot of our departments, they cross over, and so to have more people be more inclined to get these licenses would be beneficial to the district because we'd have more people ready to go if there was anything, no emergency, or that if there was any. I don't know, how many do we have currently that maybe, I know we're doing okay at the moment. We have a couple that have what is needed, but if something were to happen to them, it would be nice to have other people ready to go. And I think that, again, I would like to see the district go above and beyond for the employees because we haven't necessarily been doing that over the last few years. And yes, they did get that large step increase. However, it was really just trying to get them up to where they should have been anyway. So I think it's a good idea. I know that our budget is, we're not made of money here, but I don't want to see us just trying to save money off the backs of the employees.
Chris, how many employees do we have currently that do possess the CDL?
Yeah, I believe we have, 2 with Class B and 2 with Class A. And I think there's, 1 or 2 others who are going for their Class A and may end up hiring someone with a Class A.
Okay, and we do pay for the schooling?
Yeah, we pay for the training and receive certification.
And is it, I mean, like Jack had research and said 3,000 to 6,000, so we're paying that up front for them as well as what you're suggesting.
Yes.
Does the public have any questions for them?
No questions and comment on everybody drive a big truck. We had them since we were little kids. The $22,000 just seems extreme. I do encourage raises for, above and beyond. But I also see Class B, you paying $6,000 for that. I got my 1.5. It feels great to get that. I'll do it again, get my Class A, another $6,000, and then the 5% on top of that.
Mark Wilson, business rep, IDW Local 1245. We represent approximately 30,000 employees in the state of California, somewhere around 65 properties. Out of our 65 properties, every one of them has some sort of driver's license stipend and yearly bonus, whatever you want to call it. The thing you got to remember is how intrusive it is on your personal life to have a Class A and a Class B license. You are held to a higher standard as a professional driver. You have to pay attention more to things you do on your own time, personal time, when you possess that license. And you're not allowed to do, it's intrusive. I was a commercial driver holder for 35 years. And when you hold that license, even if you're pulled over for something different, you're held to a higher standard than a standard driver. Now, as far as attraction and retention, as Tesha said, the Cove is almost at the bottom of my property list when it comes to wages. I believe City of Willits is the only one that actually pays less than the Cove. But yet, even the City of Willits has stipends for driver's license and wastewater certificates and all that kind of stuff. So we've seen how long it took to hire an apprentice, and we're trying to hire during and now. We're trying to get that OIT position hired. It's easy to look at how the Cove is running and forget my people, the 7 or 8 people who are actually running, keeping things going. Water, wastewater, all that stuff is so critical that many people don't even think about it, right? You turn your faucet on, you got water, hey, that's great. You don't think about what goes on behind the scenes to get that water until you don't have it. And I think I grew up on a well in Sebastopol, so anybody who knows what happens when the power goes out and you're on a well, it's disruptive in life. So I would recommend taking care of these guys and doing everything you can to get people who want to come to work in the Cove. So thank you.
And also, if I could just, so to clarify, the 22,000, that'd be if all of the employees were to do that. And it's not looking like all of them are wanting to do it, so thus far.
Most likely under that.
Yeah, that's the highest of the spectrum. It doesn't mean it's that.
I have a question.
If it's something that happens everywhere else, I say, then I change my mind. I mean, if this is practice elsewhere, I'm on board.
When somebody gets another license required for their job, like a Class 2 wastewater treatment, what happens to their pay?
A lot of times, if that's part of their kind of employee development plan, it could entail a step increase on their wage.
And would this proposed stipend be equivalent to a step increase?
It would be equivalent.
My suggestion is that you bring it back as a step increase similar to other licenses rather than an individual stipend.
Isn't that what you're doing here, Chris? It's just a step increase now?
No, what he's introducing is a one-time, if we do it as a step increase, that's increasing their
Every
salary
time.
permanently.
Every time.
Yeah, so a one-time is, I think, fair. Yeah, I think a one-time is fair, and again, it's, we're not an easy location to keep our employees wanting to be here.
I agree with what the discussion is as far as the pay increase. But I would suggest that you also add something in the language that they have to stay in our district for a certain amount of time in order to receive that stipend.
We do that with, I don't know if that's something we could do with the union.
I've seen it,
You have seen that?
right. We do it with linemen now, where they get a sign-on bonus and they have to stay with a particular entity for 2 years. And if they don't, they have to pay back the sign-in bonus type situation, right? So
Well, that might,
that's not unfair and it's not unheard of.
okay.
Well, something else you gotta think about too, is if they're maxed out of their step, then they, what's the incentive to keep it if you're maxed out?
Mhm.
If you give somebody a step or 2 steps, yeah, that bumps them up quicker, but then when they're maxed out, then they're maxed out. Like Mark said, if you get a speeding ticket, it goes on your commercial driving record, and that stays on there for life, pretty much. I mean, it's not like, oh, I can go to traffic school and get it off, or whatever.
Yeah, actually, you can't go to traffic school
Yeah,
when you have a commercial license. So
things like that, or stuff to take into consideration when folks take on something like this. It's something that affects you, whether, driving to town or whatever. When a cop pulls you over, they look at your license and go, oh, you're a commercial driver, even if you're in your personal car. So, and then most of them take that into consideration when they're signing their ticket.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of, with it already being in position descriptions on some, I mean, it's already part of your employment, I mean, it's like having to have a grade 2 water or treatment or distribution or treatment license in order to go for a certain position. That's already worked out in your compensation in the salary package. And so I think with the current pay, I think they're already pretty well compensated in their salary packages. And with us already paying for it, I mean, it seems like a bonus on top of, a bonus. We're already giving them a bonus to possibly, help develop it, just as if we were, to bring in somebody as an OIT, we're paying them a general labor rate. And as soon as they get their licensing, they're going to get an increase with a new position. And I think the same can be true with, the licenses, that if somebody's going for, a CDL, that opens them up for advancement in employment, which is a step increase in salary. Plus then they can, they don't have to stay there. They can always go off and they have that CDL for as long as they want to keep it. So, but yeah.
If I may, Jack, I think that's part of the what this is about is like, we're hoping that they don't just go off, they're not just getting a commercial license, and that they're actually inspired to continue to be district employees rather than going off somewhere else where they could take that license to get more pay. And also, it's also including the employees that aren't necessarily, it's not in their job description that they have to have it. It could be a suggestion for them, or, you know, like they should or would or could, so to speak. But it's really, this would also, I think, help with the employees where it's not mandatory, but it would give them an incentive to get their license as well. And then we have more people on staff that can pick it up, you know, fill in where needed in case of an emergency, or yeah, you know, we are on a skeleton crew and our guys do cross over a lot. And it really, from my perspective, it's about, you know, so that we're not managing our employees to where we're training, we're getting them all upgraded, and then they just take that training and those licenses and go elsewhere. We don't want them to do that. We want them to stay here. And so that is why I feel like this is, and because it is something that is done elsewhere on a regular basis, I don't think that it's asking for too much. I know we need to be conscious of the budget and looking at ways to save money and what is needed and what's not needed. Yet with staff, I think that we need to make sure that we're, again, going above and beyond so that we can hopefully help retain the employees that we've spent all that money, that's however much it is, we're paying for that. But let's make sure that they want to stick around and not take that commercial license elsewhere where they can get paid more. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I also want to clarify a little bit about that one proposition about other than the stipend, the single step increase instead of a percent increase. So if you look at the revised exhibit B1, kind of complicated, but the B would be kind of like a half step increase, and the A would be like a full step increase. And it just kind of creates a new wage scale if you have that. So it is kind of already a step increase. It's not really like a one-time stipend. It would be either half or full step increase.
Okay, so this would
So
be
that
a
is-
permanent increase on their pay. It isn't just a one-time stipend.
Correct. Well, yeah. Well, it's a one-time step increase.
It's a one-time step increase, but it would be an ongoing pay increase.
Yes.
Okay.
Because then they would be getting paid for that experience that they're bringing to the table.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta wait after public comment again.
Yeah,
We gotta get the point of order.
thinking about something here. Okay, yeah, public comment.
What did I just forget? I just keep on thinking about the Whale Gold School. So I really like what Jeff said for the 2 years to keep them around. They've gone through so many bus drivers since I've been here, and it's as soon as they train them, somebody else will say, I want to pay more. So I agree with both of you guys, but I think there's a lot more to discuss, and I think that tabling this for another month would get everybody more focused and more knowledge. I'm hearing all kinds of different things, so the more knowledge, the better your decision.
Do we want to table this and bring it back next month after we get more questions answered or make changes?
Do you guys have more questions you need answered?
You know, I'm kind of on the fence with this idea of, you have to stay. I know that was something, if you get tuition, most of the companies I worked for, they would pay your college tuition for advanced degrees, but you had to give them back so many years that you would stay there with that advanced degree, or if they paid for your CPA license, you had to stay with them for a certain period of time. So I'm kind of got the questions in my mind on that. And I really,
The only difference I see is with this, it's not like a one-time bonus lump sum.
right,
It's so we couldn't do like, okay, if you leave within that 2 years, you owe us X dollars back.
no, that's.
So, yeah, because it would be
But
and
this is just a one-time step increase, right? So once they do it and we do the one-time step, it gets them up a step and then that's it. And then they go from that step forward all the time.
Yes.
So it's not gonna be reoccurring unless they change licenses.
yeah, but it is a permanent step increase. I mean, it's an added 2.5 to 5% of the salary. So, yeah, it's not, I mean, kind of throws it off as a one-time. It's not really a one-time because it is an ongoing. Yeah.
But it's compensating the ones, especially the ones that it's not in their job description, for the experience that they're bringing to the table.
Chris, is this proposing to do this to the guys we have that already have the CDLs? Or is it just the new people?
To all staff, all full-time.
So all of the guys who currently have the CDL will get a year of full 5% or 2.5% increase.
Yes.
And the maximum that you've calculated, if we did that and got some more licenses, is 22,000.
Yeah, and that's what I calculated.
I think it kind of goes along with our retention plan that we have here. We've been trying, I mean, that was one thing that I know before you started, it was a real concern amongst the superintendents when we would sit and talk with them about the fact that we don't have a lot of retention. Like John keeps training linemen, they leave us. Well, this would be a good retention tool. Go ahead, Dave.
I'm inclined to agree with Jack on this, that it's, as the contracts are now, it's part of the job. But there's been a lot of good discussion, different points of view on this. And I think it would be good to have the full board vote on this and not just 4 people.
Yeah, that's true. It might be better if we have Mike here as well, which hopefully he'll feel better by next month. Are we in agreement? We'll move this forward, table it for now, move it forward to next month's agenda, and hopefully we'll have a full board and time to think about this some more. There's been a lot of different points of view here. Okay, let's move this forward to June.
Are there any suggested changes to the proposal for just moving forward?
I think right now we just want to move it forward to make sure we have 5 people voting on it and that Michael has a chance to get his input on this.
What I'm kind of wondering is there a way that we could word it in such a way that where they, I mean, how would we word it to where that they would be able to, we'd be able to put on a time frame for them that they would have to stay?
What I can do, I can bring it forward as presented today, and I can also have another alternative or two with that wording in there. Decide upon those examples.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Options are good.
All right. Yes, this is you again, adoption of resolution 2410, Shelter Cove Road site improvements notice of exemption.
Okay, yeah, this one, I guess the county permitting process changed recently to require this, what's called a public trust doctrine, as well as CEQA for all new wells in the county. And so we filed a CEQA notice of exemption. And also I drafted a public trust doctrine. Basically what that document is just to determine if the well, just to evaluate the well, if it will have a potential impact on nearby navigable surface waters or tributaries to navigable surface waters. You can see in the document attached how I justified that. So this is just part of our new well grant funded project on the Lot W site on Brooklyn Road. How much I need to go into that. Are there any questions on any of that?
No, it seemed pretty straightforward.
I just have a quick one. Did you, I see you wrote this letter to the Humboldt County Division of Environmental Health. Did you hear anything back from them at all on, did they have any questions or concerns?
No, in fact, this was a template from another, I think it was a state park, a well drilled in the state park. They gave me some examples and I used that example. It's already something they accepted. This goes to them and then it goes to the well drillers. And we started on the project.
Any public comment?
Oh, you always have a lid. Is there a tank going to be used at any time of this, or this well?
No, the well will be pumped, it pumps into the current Jerry tank, the new steel tank on Willowwood Road. It pumps into where we can either pump up the hill or drop down from there.
Anyone else?
No, I think it's great. I mean, it's a high flowing well and that we haven't been able to use for years. So yeah, it'd be nice to get this thing into production and get it connected to the system.
Have a motion?
I would move to adopt resolution 24-10, Shelter Cove well site improvements, notice of exemption.
Roll call. Eric Hargreaves.
Aye.
Treasurer Bujee.
Aye.
David Sommer.
Aye.
Janet Evans. Aye. Thanks, Larry. Motion carried.
Okay. Consider nominee to serve as regular special district member on local agency formation commission.
Yes. So Humboldt County's local area formation commission, LAFCO, is a regular special district member vacancy. And the board is being asked to nominate one of the candidates to serve as a regular special district member. And the person leading is Deborah Lake from the Fruitland Ridge Fire Protection District. And there are two candidates, Heidi Benzanelli, who was an alternate the past couple of years. She's running now to be a regular member. And she's running against David Couch from Kennedale Community Services District. This agenda item is a statement from Heidi. This David Couch did not offer a statement. We're just being asked to nominate one of those two.
And actually, on clarification, it looks like we're being asked to vote, not nominate. The candidates have already been nominated, so it looks like this is for a vote. So yeah. But yeah, honestly, I on review, I would propose voting for Heidi. What is it, Benzanelli? Looks like she's been an alternate for the last couple of years, so it's probably already up to speed. And Mr. Couch did not give us any kind of letter or anything, so we are completely in the dark about who David Couch is or anything. So yeah.
Showing up.
Exactly. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, that's my attitude. She's willing to write us a letter and explain herself and tell us about her history and her credentials. I'm more inclined to vote for her. So, any public comment from anyone on us voting on the LAFCO? Okay.
Well, I would move to vote Heidi Benzanelli to serve as regular special district member on LAFCO.
I second the motion.
Roll call, Janet Evans. Aye. Brad Carter.
Aye.
Michael Solari, absent. David Sommer.
Aye.
Treasurer Benji. Aye. Motion carried.
Okay, adoption of resolution 1606, approving the Community Credit Union of Southern Humboldt as banking vendor and authorizing signatures to sign for banking transactions upon the district accounts. Chris, do you want to?
Yeah, so the background is there are 2 new checking accounts that are being requested to be established by the district with Umpqua Bank. This action is necessary to track expenses for 2 of the district's grants, which include the Cal Fire Shelter Cove Community Wildfire Resiliency Project Phase 4, Defensible Space Incentive Program, evacuation survivability for $982,287.59, and the USDA Shelter Cove Wildfire Resiliency and Community Defense Project, SCWRCDP, for $6,222,500. This action is necessary to track each grant reimbursement and expenses efficiently and effectively. So, recommendation is to approve the opening of the 2 new accounts with Umpqua Bank and authorizing signatures to sign for banking transactions on the account.
I just wanted to, let me just say, we just got into, we got this like last minute. Did you catch the title thing? Okay, cool. That was the only thing. Yeah, because it's actually resolution 24-11, not 16-016 or 06. So yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, just making sure we caught that. So yeah, I was a little confused when I read the title and then got into the meat of it. I was like, wait, we already bank with Community Credit Union. But yeah, Dave, this is just to basically open up 2 additional accounts at Umpqua to service these grants, the road clearance grant and the USDA grant.
That's all audited, very audited, just one paperwork file.
Is it Umpqua or?
It's Umpqua. The title is incorrect.
Okay, that even the community.
Yeah, the title is incorrect. It had the Community Credit Union of Southern Humboldt. It was for basically, the title is for opening an account at Community Credit Union, but no, what we're actually doing is a resolution to approve opening 2 more accounts at Umpqua.
The resolution is correct.
Yes, the resolution is correct. It's just the title of the agenda item.
So there's nothing wrong with the resolution that we have to correct. I think it's the best idea to do. We have got to start getting, particularly grants of size, where things are not commingled with our day-to-day activities, because there are very strict standards for GASB reporting, as well as the people who have given us this grant money information. So I think we can do that. Okay. Any public comment? Okay. Motion?
I would make a motion to adopt resolution 24-11, approving the opening of 2 new accounts with Umpqua Bank and authorizing signatures to sign for banking transactions upon the new account.
I second the motion.
Roll call, Janet Evans. Aye. Brad Carter.
Aye.
Michael Solari, absent. David Sommer.
Aye.
Treasurer Benji. Aye. Motion carried.
Concludes our meeting.
I did have one thing for unfinished business. I didn't want to do it at the other time. Just in our discussion about the policy manual, and not to throw extra work onto admin. So nothing urgent, but would it be possible to basically go through and on kind of taking the title sheet or table of contents of the policy manual, showing the date of adoption for each policy, so the directors are able to take that and then go through our manuals and see if our actual policy manuals are up to date. Because I know we do get these inserts and updates every once in a while. Hopefully everybody's up to date. I know I was just cleaning up my office last week and I found probably half a dozen that I hadn't put in my policy manual. And it made me wonder if I've let any of these slip by. And so that I may have policies that I didn't actually get updated. So yeah, nothing, I know you're in the transition, everything's new. So not to throw more work on you, but that may be something that could help us out. And then we could use it for going forward to keeping things up to date.
Yeah, I appreciate that discussion. It is a needed thing to keep everyone in line. If it's this most updated version, I think that would be great to be able to check things.
In my office and I didn't have updates, but she sent me everything so that I could print and go through them. But yeah, I think that's a good idea, so we don't have to go through. I mean, I've got like Post-its and things all over them.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can do that. Okay.
That was it.
Okay. Adjourn this meeting at 10:57.
Thank you all.